Valentine's Day is about showing love to others, but what about showing it to yourself? Today, we're talking about a Good Girl Detox. It's a chance to step out of your head, reconnect with your body, and rediscover your joy. We have Dr. Julie Merriman, author of In Pursuit of Soul Joy, joins us now with more. Good morning, doctor. How are you doing this morning?
Well, good morning, San Antonio. I'm so glad to be here. Thank you.
So, your book talks about identity burnout. What is that?
Oh, girl. So picture you're laying in bed and you wake up at 2 a.m. and your to-do list is just, it's just flooding your mind, and you you're just never done. You have a great evaluation at work, but yet and everyone says you're amazing, but you don't feel it. You just feel absolutely numb. And that feeling that happens because when we hit that identity burnout, we just cannot, we're so busy performing, we're so busy doing for others, we're so busy, we think of everyone else's needs before we think of our own, and we end up just empty. We have lost sight of who we are because we're so busy doing. I call it like a floating head of competence. We are completely not embodied. We're so busy doing. And that doing is what becomes our undoing, if you will.
Okay, that makes sense. And you talk about resentment being this silent side effect of burnout and compassion fatigue. How does that actually show up for people day to day?
Sure. Well, resentment comes up because we're so busy. We have become the empty cup, right? I mean, it's a misnomer that we can't pour from an empty cup. We do. And what happens is we become the empty cup, and the resentment settles in our heart. We continually are meeting other people's needs, but we're not meeting our own needs. And so to even take a rest, we feel guilty for resting. To set a boundary causes us to feel like we are betraying someone. And what happens is we're not meeting our own needs, right? Because we're so busy meeting others. And every time we swallow a truth to keep the peace, or we neglect ourselves to make sure someone else is taken care of, that resentment is going to settle in your heart. And it becomes a part of your tissues. It's part of your fascia. It becomes part of your nervous system. Our that stress cycle never completes because we're so busy doing. And it's a very difficult thing. Bubble bath ain't going to fix that. We have
Yeah.
got to do some nervous system regulation.
And I mean, I could even relate to that. And I'm sure a lot of our viewers listening to you, they're like, oh, that all makes sense. And you mentioned the root chakra and that feeling safe has to come first before we can find our energy. Can you break down like what that really means?
Absolutely. Our The root chakra is one of our first chakras to form. That is where we our sense of self and that sense of safety lives. And when we are in this constant stress cycle because we're not taking time to complete that stress cycle, our root chakra becomes very, very unbalanced. And that's going to cause us to feel perpetually unsafe. And I don't mean like someone's going to come attack us necessarily, but it's that nervous system that doesn't know that stress cycle isn't something dangerous coming at us, because our nervous system doesn't know the difference if it's a saber-toothed tiger or if it's a deadline that we've missed. So we're constantly activated, if you will. So we have to learn to balance those chakra systems by letting our brain and our nervous system take a pause.
That is really good advice. It sounds like I'm going to have to get that book in my hands because I definitely need it. Thank you so much, doctor. I'm going to give our viewers that information, In Pursuit of Joy. You can find it at juliemerriamphd.com. And to learn more about Julie, you can find her on social media on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube.